Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching LA Confidential by Curtis Hanson, starring Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, and Danny DeVito. This is a film I've known existed for the longest time, but I never actually took the time to watch it when I was younger because I wasn't the biggest fan of noir or neo-noir cinema. But after watching films like Chinatown, Old Boy, and Dark City, I can't help but admire this unique and complex genre. LA Confidential looks like it has a insane ensemble cast, and although I have literally no idea what this film is about or what to expect, I know that it's considered a classic of neo-noir cinema by today's standards. I've only watched one film from Curtis Hanson before, 8 Mile, which was a great movie. And also, the script for this movie was partly written by Brian Helgeland, who directed Payback starring Mel Gibson, another neo-noir cinema which I just watched on the channel, so do check that out if you have the time. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie and over 100 movies, early access and weekly polls for what to watch next. You will need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron, please subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos, like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. LA Confidential, Hanson, Spacey, Crowe, Pierce, Basinger, DeVito. Let's go.
Come to Los Angeles. The sun shines bright.
What a classic song.
There are jobs aplenty.
LA Confidential.
You could even be discovered. Become a movie star, or at least see one.
I think this might be Danny DeVito's voice.
Mickey C's the head of organized crime in these parts. He runs dope, rackets, and prostitution.
Oh.
Mr. Cohen, you're under arrest. Non-payment of federal income tax.
And it is Danny DeVito's voice.
Hush, hush.
Oh, so he writes a gossip column. And this film has to be set in the 50s or 60s? Officer Bud White.
You're like Santa Claus with that list, bud. Except everyone on it's been naughty.
What are you, some kind of smartass?
You touch her again, I'll have you violated on a kitty rape beef.
I just learned two things about Bud's character. He hates domestic abusers and he's a police officer.
Contract players, Metro. You pinch him, I do you up nice feature next issue.
I like to help people.
What'll it be then? Patrol Division, Internal Affairs, what?
I was thinking Detective Bureau.
He doesn't like that.
You're a political animal. You have the eye for human weakness, but not the stomach.
You're wrong, sir.
Would you be willing to shoot a hardened criminal in the back in order to offset the chance that some lawyer...
No,
Then, for the love of God, don't be a detective.
but I don't need to do it the way you did. Or my father.
At least get rid of the glasses. I can't think of a single man in the Bureau who wears them.
So there are three separate plot lines going on. Russell Crowe's, Kevin Spacey's, and Guy Pearce's. It's going to be a complex narrative, I bet. Kim Basinger. I don't believe I've seen too many of her films, but I know her as a big star in the 80s and 90s. Another potential domestic abuser, which he hates.
Get lost, why don't you? Ah! I used to be a cop.
Leland Meeks,
They call me Buzz.
you okay?
She's fine.
I'm not asking you, sir.
You got the wrong idea, mister. I'm fine.
But it's nice to know you care.
All right, come on. Get down. Go.
Again, nothing has changed. This still happens today.
Freeze! Police! Hold it! Come on. Let's go.
This is so wrong.
Christmas is a joy.
Fleur-de-lis.
You like it, Jackie boy?
That was a straight up bribe.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Hey, you know me, I'm keeping the streets safe, boys.
What's that for?
Well, it's a gratuity from Hush Hush magazine, you know. Buy yourself a new pair of loafers.
I'm not interested.
The other officers won't like the fact that Exley doesn't play by their rules.
Mexicans, sir. The ones who assaulted Brown and Helenowski.
I heard Helenowski lost 6 pints of blood and Brown's in a coma.
Let's get these men booked and into the lockup.
Hey, Stan. We brought the Mexicans in.
Hey, Stensland, the party's upstairs.
This is for ours, Pancho.
Oh man. Judge, jury, and executioner right here.
Yeah, and fuck your mother. Fuck you. Hey!
Holy crap. This is blatant racism, I think.
Bloody Christmas.
Bloody Christmas, why do I know that?
Officer White, you should know this is bigger than a police board.
It was an actual event that happened, I think.
You're badge and gun, officer. You're suspended from duty.
Yeah. What a messed up situation.
This department, your new LAPD, will not tolerate officers who think they're above the law.
Dick Stensland is an embarrassment as a policeman.
Yeah, they're trying to pin it all on him.
But Bud White is a valuable officer.
White's a mindless thug.
I'll promote you to lieutenant.
I admire your refusal to testify.
What do you want?
Your partner's through. Departmental scapegoat on the chief's orders.
A year from his pension.
You'll do as I say and ask no questions. Do you follow my drift?
In Technicolor, sir.
Ooh. What the F?
Mickey Cohen's narcotics lieutenant. Could he be behind the hits? I suppose not.
Somebody's killing Cohen's men after he got arrested.
Two-man triggers are punching the tickets on the mixter's muscle.
And Danny DeVito's character is writing about it in the press.
I hear things.
Bud is being used as an enforcer, a literal enforcer.
Look who's back from suspension.
Here, Jack.
Here comes the snitch.
I love the music.
Sorry about that, Lieutenant.
Stay out of trouble, Bud.
Nah, I got a hot date.
Yeah?
The camera work in this film is very static.
Sergeant Williams, pick up, please.
Oh, that was a beautiful watch.
You got a homicide. Downtown Division, the Night Owl Coffee Shop.
I got it.
Night Owl Coffee Shop. Funny story about night owls. That's where I got the inspiration for my logo. I have a reputation for staying up late, so that's why I use an owl as my logo. The tone of the cinematography and the music completely changed. Looks like a standard robbery though, but I'm sure there's more to it. Holy, that's a mass murder.
I took the call. It's my case.
I'll make you my second in command.
Captain Smith, over here, please. Back door! Nobody else inside.
Exley posing for the picture.
We got an ID on one of the victims. It's Dick Stensland.
Oh man, we just saw Stensland.
Hell of a way to avoid a prison sentence.
You don't have to aggravate Bud. He just lost his partner of how many years? We don't even know.
Is this your daughter, Mrs. Lefferts?
I don't know.
You got the wrong idea, mister. I'm fine.
She has a birthmark.
Wow, that was excellent editing. Even I didn't recognize her.
It's her.
6 victims. One of them, one of our own, Dick Stensland. 3 Negro juveniles were seen discharging shotguns last night in Griffith Park.
I need an address on a customer of yours. Her name was Lynn.
That's a very postmodern house for the 50s.
Where were you last night?
I was here hosting a party.
Tell me about Dick Stensland.
I don't know him.
Sue Lefferts died at the Night Owl. I'm investigating. What happened to the other guy? Buzz.
Buzz Meeks no longer works for me. I use girls that look like movie stars. Sometimes I employ a plastic surgeon. When the work had been done, that's when you saw us.
Miss Bracken, I'm Officer White.
Pierce called. He told me what happened to Sue.
LAPD shitbird, get the fuck out of here, or I'll call your wife to come get you.
That was a good scene.
I don't know. I never heard of the Night Owl till today. I remember you from Christmas Eve. You have a thing for helping women, don't you, Officer White? You're different, Officer White. You're the first man in 5 years who didn't tell me I look like Veronica Lake inside of a minute.
You look better than Veronica Lake.
That's provocative.
I'd like to see you again.
Are you asking me for a date or an appointment?
He's interested, but he's still keeping the line between professionalism and personal desires.
We're looking for 3 colored guys who like to pop off shotguns.
What do you got?
I got 3 12-gauge pumps, an empty box of double-aught buck, and some cash.
How many ways in?
Only one, up the stairs.
The evidence is just too good to be true, right? Exactly the 3 shotguns left in a car like that. I don't know.
Don't move! Hey, some Jack! Shut up, Roning!
I don't know why I'm getting an uncomfortable feeling. There's something definitely wrong. Either I'm not smart enough to catch it, or it's not been revealed yet.
Sugar Lewis told me you went sissy up at Casitas. You couldn't do the time, so you got yourself a big white boy to look after you. Said they called you Sugar because you gave it out. So sweet.
Lewis gave it up at Casitas, man. And I was the fucking born shock in my dome. Lewis was the sissy.
We got the shotguns ready.
I don't own no shotguns.
I didn't mean to hurt her. Maybe she's okay.
Who are you talking about? If that girl is still alive, she's the only chance you've got.
I think she's alive.
You think?
Then where is she now?
Did you leave her someplace? Just sell her out?
Oh! He can't contain himself. He can't control himself.
Put the weapon down! Here's the girl!
Great acting by the cast here.
Brown corner house, upstairs.
That was really good filmmaking because it kind of their guilt was very murky. Great filmmaking. Awesome job in subverting my expectations. There's somebody there. I think she just pointed it out with her eyes. Oh. He did exactly what their boss said Exley was incapable of doing.
I need to know what time they left here.
Get her to the hospital.
I realize this is difficult. A naked guy with a gun? You expect anyone to believe that?
Get the fuck away from me.
Repeat, the Night Owl suspects have escaped.
How did they get out the window in the first place?
They escaped from the police station.
The girl at the hospital made a statement. 3 chicks left her at midnight. Plenty of time to beat the Night Owl by 1.
Yeah, the cinematographer is favoring very fluid and sweeping shots, which kind of go with the whole neo-noir feel.
Nobody moves!
You're under arrest.
Don't shoot, man! Don't shoot! You just don't shoot!
Like Chesterfield.
What a bloody mess.
Edmund J. Exley has amassed a brilliant record in his 7 years with the Los Angeles Police Department.
I wondered when you might knock on my door again, Officer White.
Yeah, I don't think this is a professional visit. She's from Phoenix.
I'm getting him to fuck the DA for $100. That's twice the 50 you got for wrecking his career. That's DA law right there.
Have we met before?
Yeah, I think you have, my friend.
If Reynolds works his charge, which I know he will, they'll be at the Hollywood Center Motel Room 203. Meet me there at midnight for a little photo shoot. Maybe we can work in a Hollywood sign this time.
Roman Holiday. What a classic film.
So smile, smile, smile.
Does he feel a semblance of guilt accepting the money. Dude just left $50.
Come on, kid. You don't have to do the...
Jeez, man. Great close-up shot of Spacey's face that showed he did feel somewhat guilty for his actions.
Seeing him come through the door is about the only thing I remember.
In your statement, you said they left you at midnight.
They might have.
She isn't sure?
I don't know what time they left me. I wanted them dead. Will anyone care that they raped a Mexican girl from Boyle Heights if they hadn't killed those white people at the Night Owl? I did what I had to do for justice.
Inez?
The plot thickens.
I grew up there. I'm going back in a couple of years. Open up a dress shop. Where'd this come from?
When I was 12, my old man went after my mother with a bottle. I got in the way.
Ah, he's been doing this all his life.
I watched him beat my mother to death with a tire iron. And it left me there.
That'll mess you up. And the performances by the cast have been so good.
Grilled cheese, black coffee. 2 of the victims were women, right?
Yeah.
I'm Officer White. Tell me about the boyfriend, the one you mentioned at the coroner's office.
That's him. That's him.
Stensland. It's been a while since he's been buried here. Ugh, advanced state of decomposition. Meeks!
Never heard of you.
They call me Buzz.
There's definitely something going on.
Anything bothering you about the Night Owl case?
Bud White grilled me on it this morning.
Bud White?
They're on the same page almost.
I'm busy right now. Why don't you just go ask some of your boys in homicide?
Purse snatcher. My father ran into him off duty, and he shot my father 6 times and got away clean.
Interesting.
No one even knew who he was. I just made the name up to give him some personality. Rollo Tomasi's the reason I became a cop. I wanted to catch the guys who thought they could get away with it. It was supposed to be about justice.
It's symbolic. I get it.
Why'd you become a cop?
I don't remember.
Wow, that's really good acting from Kevin Spacey.
All right, college boy, I'll help.
And the storylines are somehow coming together, but I'm not getting the bigger picture yet, just the small details. Helgeland, he's a great writer, and this is, at least the writing of this film is much better than Payback.
So we got Rita Hayworth at the morgue, and now Veronica Lake with White. Why is she seeing Bud White?
Why do men and women usually see each other, Mr. Exley?
Great camera work here with the zooming. I mean, the focusing.
Where the hell are you going?
Lynn Bracken's. I'm gonna find out why Patchett has her seeing Bud White.
Pratchett is definitely involved in something we don't know yet.
Miss Bracken, I'm Lieutenant Exley.
And you forget one thing, Lieutenant. Pierce also taught me how to fuck. I see Bud because I want to.
Don't underestimate me, Miss Bracken.
Fucking me and fucking Bud aren't the same thing, you know.
Stop talking about Bud White.
Oh my goodness. What a mess.
I need 2 minutes, Dudley. Do you remember Buzz Meeks? 12 years ago, he was on a vice rouse with Dick Stensland. They questioned Pierce Patchett about a blackmail scam. Patchett had Sid Hudgens photographing prominent businessmen with hookers. Charges were dropped. Insufficient evidence. You were the supervising officer on that case, and I was wondering if you remember anything about it. Murder. I've been working with Ed Exley on it.
Don't start trying to do the right thing, boyo.
I was not expecting that.
Rollo Tomasi.
Holy crap.
Although he was found in Echo Park, preliminary forensics indicates the body was most likely moved.
It's him who's setting everything up. I was a little suspicious at the beginning, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt. This is great filmmaking.
Edmund, Rollo Tomasi?
A name I don't believe he's shared with anyone.
You ever heard Vincennes mention him?
No, I haven't.
Keep your eyes open, eh, Boyle?
Jack's last words were almost like a cryptic message to Exley.
Would you care to comment on Pierce Patchett?
Patchett. He bankrolls B movies under the table.
We've seen pictures of those B movies.
And?
And what? He runs call girls.
Fleur de lis.
Primo tail fixed up to look like movie stars. Patchett got me to photograph this cop screwing this gorgeous slut named Lynn.
He thinks it's pictures of him. Holy crap. It is Exley.
I wouldn't trade places with Edmund Exley right now for all the whiskey in Ireland.
Smith set the whole thing up.
And you! Learn to pull your punches a little better.
Oh man, he's not getting out of here alive, is he?
We had a deal.
Oh,
you and me and Patchett, we're a team. We're friends.
Hush, hush.
Anything?
Nothing.
You talked to Exley?
We talked.
You fucked him.
I thought I was helping you.
How though?
Wait. Dudley killed Jack. He wants you to kill me.
He figured it out. But Bud isn't convinced quite yet. He's a hothead.
I knew Stensland lied to me. Lefferts' mother ID'd Stensland as Lefferts' boyfriend. Stensland pretended he didn't know Meeks or her the night that I met.
But I think Stens killed Meeks over heroin. It wasn't the Negroes. The rape victim lied in her statement.
They planted the shotguns.
And they'd have killed the Negroes too if Jack and I hadn't shown up. Dudley framed them because they were Negroes and had records.
Oh.
If we're gonna figure this out, we need to work together.
So the Night Owl murders were just a cover-up for killing Stensland, I think.
You want to tear all that down?
He doesn't care.
With a wrecking ball. You wanna help me swing it?
Oh, that was awesome. That line was, that was awesome.
Dudley Smith is a highly decorated member of this police department. I'm not going to smear his and Pierce Patchett's name without...
Without what?
So what if some homo actor is dead, huh? Boys, girls, 10 of them get off the bus to L.A. every day.
Russell Crowe's acting was just sublime here. He was so intimidating with his silent stare.
Pull him off me, Exley!
I don't know how.
And Exley, he's finally coming around to doing what's right.
Hey, Dudley and Patchett! Hey! Oh!
What a way to get a confession.
I wouldn't play ball, so they set me up, and then I gave in, but the kid heard everything. Oh.
Is that how you used to run the good cop, bad cop?
Brilliant.
Patchett?
I love how the film kind of came together about the good cop and the bad cop. That's exactly what happened. Holy crap, Patchett's dead.
Says he killed Jack because Jack had figured out a pornography scam Patchett was running.
Everybody's acting is just so good.
Do you have someplace you can stay?
I'll be okay.
Must have dug up garbage on the wrong guy. Got it narrowed down to 1,000 suspects.
You wanted to meet here? You called it. I thought Sid Hutchins was...
Hutchins is dead.
All I ever wanted was to measure up to my father.
Now's your chance. He died in the line of duty, didn't he?
Holy crap, it's an ambush. The sounds of the gun feel talky, very realistic. That was awesome.
Move!
Oh man!
Rolo Tomasi.
Who is he?
You are. You're the guy who gets away with it.
The name was symbolic. Okay.
Are you gonna shoot me? Or arrest me?
I think this is a callback to one of the opening scenes of the film where he says Exley doesn't have what it takes.
Hold up your badge so they'll know you're a policeman.
This is the climax. He has to pull the trigger before the cops show up. Brilliant.
3 Night Owl suspects, while guilty of kidnapping and rape. Beginning with the incarceration of Mickey Cohen, Captain Smith has been assuming control of organized crime in the city of Los Angeles. Captain Smith admitted as much to me before I shot him at the Victory Motel.
The press is gonna have a field day with this. This. Christ, it'll stain the department for years.
Yeah, I knew it. They're concerned about the department. And it's funny how he's on the other side of the mirror now.
In this situation, you'll need more than one.
It is with
Oh man, they're saving face. I was very emotionally invested in Bud White's character, and it's sad how he just died like that. Bud White is alive!
Thanks for the push.
They don't even need words. He doesn't even need words. Wow. Powerful performance here.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Exley.
Some men get the world. Others get egg hookers and a trip to Arizona.
She's going back home with Bud White. Wow. I think this is one of those films I don't have any criticisms for because for the life of me, I can't think of anything. That was awesome. That was one of the best noir films I've seen so far. Okay, I took some time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was definitely a classic film. It was amazing. From the credits, I got to find out that this movie was based on a novel by James Ellroy. I don't know how accurately it was adapted from the novel, but I can confidently say the film's complex narrative was written to perfection. The directing by Curtis Hanson was amazing, and the acting by the entire cast was so good that it blended with the rest of the film very well. The cinematography and editing were of the highest caliber, and even the score was commendable too. I honestly can't find anything to criticize here, so this entire review is going to be pretty much praise. Maybe the only thing I can think of is the unrelenting pace. It was almost like a roller coaster ride in the sense that the audience doesn't get a second to breathe. Things keep happening. Let's start with the directing by Curtis Hanson and the writing by him and Brian Helgeland. The film follows 3 separate storylines that interweave and come together by the end. The story of Ed Exley, the story of Bud White, and the story of Jack Vincennes. All the while, we see the city of Los Angeles embroiled in corruption under the guise of glamour. The structure of the story, although not unique, was very well written. The directorial choices of keeping certain bits of information hidden from the audience till the right moment was brilliant. The scene where Dudley kills Bud was so well hidden that until it was revealed to the audience, I had no idea. I had my suspicions about Dudley, and my goodness, the reveal was amazing. Each and every one of the main characters of the film were well written, and almost all of them had proper character arcs, which is very important for a good story. Especially the 3 main officers. Jack Vincennes goes from a somewhat corrupt officer to feeling remorse for his actions. Bud White realizes that brute force is not always the answer, and Ed Exley learns that that there is a place for violence in the world in the right context, because not everything is black and white, no pun intended. Even secondary characters like Danny DeVito's Hudgens, Basinger's Lynn, and Cromwell's Smith were fleshed out with their own motivations and their own stories. I really appreciate the attention to detail paid to every little aspect of the script. There was a symbolism of the name Rollo Tomasi. I think it meant to represent good. By that I mean it reminded both Jack and Exley why they were fighting the good fight in the first place. I still have the question of why Exley sleeps with Lynn, and more importantly, why Lynn thinks that it probably helped White. Any explanation here would be greatly appreciated. The deaths of the film were handled very well by the director, Hansen. Most, if not all of them, were a surprise. Almost all the characters die by the end. I didn't know who was going to die at any one point, and that's fantastic filmmaking because it keeps the audience's brains working. The narrative itself was rich and complex, and I loved how everything came together at the end. And the choice of keeping Bud White alive was another surprise I didn't see coming. He was literally shot through the face, for goodness sake. The cinematography of this film was different to a standard neo-noir film. A good different. A huge bit of light was used, which I did not expect at all. Usually neo-noir films like to play with dark and darkness, but not this film. Even the dark scenes were pretty well lit. It had all the hallmarks of a neo-noir film except the lighting work, and that made it stand apart from the rest, at least visually. The camera work was mostly static, and the scenes that weren't static, the cinematographer favored very smooth moving camera angles with dollies, zooms, and sweeping panning shots. It created an atmosphere where the world seemed alive and always on the move. The editing of the film was top-notch. The interrogation scene involving the three black men was definitely a highlight, and the editing is what made that scene great. How the director chose to use sound and cut between the suspects was just masterful. The music of the film was by Jerry Goldsmith. He's a legend of Hollywood, and his score was excellent here. It was very period appropriate and clearly inspired by noir films from a different time. The sound design was top tier too, especially the sounds of the glamorous 1950s LA and Hollywood. I also have nothing negative to say about the gun sounds and the general sound design of the film, so awesome. The sets and props for the film were perfect. The sets were straight out of a history book with excruciating detail, and the props, like the dead bodies, guns, and the cars of the time, they were also very accurate. Great work in this department. Kevin Spacey played Jack Vincennes. He was excellent. I know and am aware of Spacey's controversies, and I realize it's hard to praise a man because of his real-world crimes, but judging his performance in this film, he was really, really good in his role. There were a lot of subtleties in his facial expressions. Two scenes really jumped out for me. The one where he actually feels guilty for his actions after realizing he indirectly caused the death of that actor played by Simon Baker. And also in the scene where he was killed off, the way he says Rollo Tomasi before he dies was just perfect line delivery. Russell Crowe played Bud White. He was also great in his role as the angry cop. His character was a brute, but with the best of intentions, and Crowe played that role to perfection, honestly. He does have a reputation of playing hot-headed good guys, and he does it very well. Like I mentioned before, the choice to keep him alive at the end and end up with Lynn was a bold one, and it was a surprising one. Speaking of Lynn, she was played by Kim Basinger, and holy crap, she can act. I don't believe I've seen any film starring Basinger before, although I've seen her in smaller roles, so if you have a Basinger film you'd like to recommend, my ears are open. She played her character with layers, and I could never pinpoint where her true allegiances lied throughout the runtime. She played one of the most complex characters of the film, and she absolutely nailed it. Finally, Guy Pearce played Ed Exley, the goody two-shoes cop who just wanted to live up to his father's legacy and gets mixed up with this messed up conspiracy. And although he was excellent in his role, I think Spacey's, Crow's, and Basinger's performances were a little better. I really can't put my finger on why exactly though. Maybe because his character was a little too good. Regardless, whatever it was, he was still very good in his role, and his character arc felt the most satisfying or fulfilling of the film. As for the criticisms, like I mentioned before, honestly the only one I can think of, which is probably not a real criticism, was the unrelenting pace. The audience had to work double time to follow the plot. It was asking a lot from the audience, and I think it may be a good thing that the director didn't spoon feed every single detail of the film, and it required a lot of audience participation to figure everything out. Too many modern films nowadays shove so much exposition down your throat that it becomes boring, and this was a refreshing change of pace. The casual movie viewer might find it too tedious, might find it too much work to enjoy it, but that's exactly why this film is considered a classic today. Overall, LA Confidential was one of the best neo-noir films I've ever seen. The pacing was relentless, the writing and directing were flawless, the performance by the entire cast were stellar, and the rest of the production was top-notch. The story itself was layered and complex, all the while making the audience work for answers. This is a film I'll remember for a long, long time, and it was one of the best made films I've seen in a while. I highly recommend this movie to anyone and everyone, and especially fans of neo-noir movies. Thank you guys for the recommendation. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell to get instant notifications when I upload videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.